Hello, Hannah here. Just trying to get this stand right. There we go. And I forgot to turn the camera around. So my name is Hannah from Reality Awareness. Hi. Just bear with me while I flick this camera around. So I'm going live for Mediumship Mondays that I am commencing. Do not ask me how this is going to work because I actually don't know. I was just getting ready and I'm like, I don't actually know how I'm going to do these Mediumship Mondays. I don't know. But as always, I am turning up and following my intuition about what I'm being guided to do. So here we are at Mediumship Mondays. Let me share this and then I will be present with you on how we're going to work this, baby. I'm really nervous about this. Mediumship is probably like the very first thing that I really delved into when I had my spiritual awakening 18, 20 years ago. I love mediumship. I'm very clear in it. I do have a really solid boundary with the spirit world with it, which is definitely what I teach in Trust Intuition. Sorry, I'm just going to share this so I can concentrate. Because the thing is that when we open up our spiritual gifts, when we open up and, do our psychic development, when we sense spirits, there's many reasons that, spirits will show up to us, like a deceased loved one or something else or someone else or a ghost of some sort or a spirit or a presence. So because I don't know how I'm going to work this Mediumship Mondays yet, I'm just gonna start and gonna run with different ways of doing Mediumship Mondays because I don't know. I've just been guided to turn up and do Mediumship Mondays, so here I am. So how about, someone just said, can I ask a question? And so as long as it's on the mediumship scale, like, yes, definitely ask questions. Like, let's just start with that. Like, just pop in some questions. I'll see how many questions I can answer. Like, as long as it's mediumship related, of course. Like, this is a mediumship class or experience. Like I said, I don't know how I'm going to run this yet. So let's just start with some questions. Because I have a whole course, like mediumship is in the third eye chakra consciousness course, chakra consciousness. There's so much energy streaming through. Like when I was just getting ready, I was like, oh, I've got a message about somebody's dad. And I'm like, well, there could be like a million dads. And that's when I was like, I don't know how I'm going to run this because, how do I do mediumship on a live stream? It's probably the same as any other thing. It's just that I'm specifically asking, about this, right? So I'd like to ask about a person's feelings. Can it be? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Like, what do you mean? I'd like to ask about a person's feeling. Like, is it a deceased person? Is it someone that's passed over? Or is it someone that's still alive? Like, I need more information. And the thing is like, what do you, I want to say, like, if you guys are new to my work, bear with me. Yes, ask questions. Let's start here because like I said, I'm learning how I'm going to run these Mediumship Mondays and I'm just starting. So just pop questions in and I'll see how we go because and if you're new to my work, just be prepared to have blunt questions. Like I'd like to ask about a person's feelings. Can it be? What does that mean? And I want to say like, what is it relevant about somebody's feelings or not? I'm like, have you asked them? Have you spoken to them? And if you're just wondering how they feel about you, I'm like, well, have you asked them? It's kind of plain and simple, right? So yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Hi, Maggie from Darwin. Thank you so much. Samantha, Ravi, Heidi, Sherry, Yvonne, Doreen, everyone else who's here. So Doreen, my daughter died 2 years ago. Does she have a message for me? Okay, let's start there. And if you've got questions, guys, pop them in, okay? So as I'm just tuning into your daughter, does she have a name? What's her name, please? If you can just provide me with a name, that would be helpful. I might not get to everyone depending on how many people jump on and where we're going. So just, yeah, let's pop the questions in. I'll see how I go. And I'll see, like I said, I'm just learning how I'm going to hold these Mediumship Mondays. I'm going to hold them every Monday, Sunday evening. If you guys are on the other side of the world, it's Monday morning here in Australia, of course. Be roughly the same time every week, not setting an exact time at this moment. Okay. Okay, so, and I'm going to jump around, so bear with me. So Jenna says, what is a good way to clean your pineal gland? I'm feeling called to do that. Been having so much deja vu dreams, and these numbers I'm seeing lately is crazy. Awesome. So your clairvoyance is awake. You're highly clairvoyant. Dreams, deja vu, seeing numbers. This is your clairvoyance. This is third eye chakra consciousness. Mediumship is third eye chakra consciousness. In my Trust Intuition course, you get third eye chakra as a bonus. You can purchase third eye chakra consciousness course by itself. It is quite a big course. It's very in depth, and it covers a lot of things because dreams, deja vu, seeing, like, it's your clairvoyance, right? You see past, present, future, and all the different realms in between that. So how do you clean your pineal gland? Well, there's obviously the metaphysic traumas, healing your, you're healing your third eye itself. So the third eye, and again, I'm just about to record all of this for Trust Intuition. Literally, like, this week, I'm dropping, like, your spiritual organs, right? And your third eye is one of them. So how do you heal your pineal gland? Definitely the metaphysics. So you want to be healing your third eye from past life trauma, from interdimensional trauma, from this lifetime trauma, metaphysically. And then obviously the physical things like detoxing your body. From heavy metals, from all the chemical toxins. Like, it's like, how deep do you want to go? And then also, spiritually, you could meditate and clean your pineal gland by imagining white light around it, asking Archangel Michael for 100% light to help, etc., etc. Yeah? Okay, Denise. I've not done this before, but I'm actually feeling called, like, do you want to come on camera, Doreen? Like, can we talk on camera? Do you want to come on live stream? Or, like, I don't know how to do this. All these years I've not done... It's kind of crazy, right? But I feel like I want to, like, connect with you more, and I'm wondering if you're willing to play around with me of how we can do this. I'll just wait for her to do that. Okay, not feeling so good. Okay, because so I'm not sure. I know you've spoken a lot about this over the years, but please forgive me for not remembering stuff. Like, so when you first asked, she was there, and also the person with Edward, was it Edward? Edward, yes, Maggie. So if you're still here, so just bear with me for a moment. So Denise, Denise, like, I just keep getting, I'm just going to pass all these messages on straight away, and the more that you can share with me, like, back, the better. Like, I just keep getting this, like, overwhelming sense of, like, she's so sorry. Like, this, it's like she did something wrong, or she's just, like, she's not forgiven herself, or it's like she sees you in pain and she doesn't want you to be in pain, or it's like, it's like this longing for each other, can't communicate anymore, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like, there's this, I can't remember what happened, to be honest, I'm sorry. I don't even know if you shared that part, but anyway, the point is that, like, it's just like, she's just, like, head in hands crying, like, she's so sorry. And I'm gonna jump around, but bear with me. So I'm gonna explain things with the mediumship, because a lot of people in spirituality teach that like, when somebody passes over, that they just turn into an angel and they're happy and Larry and everything's dandy and rosy and fine. Like, it's really far from the truth. When somebody passes over, they still are the exact same person as when they left in physical form. The only difference is that they now see the truth of all the things that we're unconscious to when we're in physical human, right? It's almost like our physical human self makes us unconscious, yeah, in a way. And so when a person passes over, they're now like, oh my God, I realized all this stuff and I can't fucking do anything about it. And that's why working with a medium when you've had somebody pass over can be really helpful to get that healing and, you know, those to heal. Because the thing is that even when okay, so I'll just explain how I even work in mediumship sessions, because what I'm actually doing now is holding space for her to heal. So when I work in a mediumship session, and as I said, like a lot of people think they're happy and Larry and they're an angel and they're fine on the other side, and whilst that's good to help people move on, it's also very far from the truth, and even the person underneath can feel them around and knows there's stuff going on, right? So so when I work, I'm actually holding space. 99.9% of the time, I'm holding more space for the person who is deceased and passed over than I am the physical person, meaning like they're receiving the healing that they need so that they can move on. Now, it doesn't mean that they're moving on and you'll never see them again. It's just that we don't want them tied to the earth plane because they died at that particular time for a reason to move on to their next thing, right? So she's got her head in her hands, like she's on her knees, like just, you know, and I'm just holding space for her while I'm talking for this grief to pour out, okay? And this is sort of how it works. And so because it just feels like there's a lot of like regret, remorse, like, I don't know, there's something, it's almost like obviously she's your daughter, so she died before her time, like she didn't get to grow old, but it feels like there's like this regret and remorse of like just not guilt, just regret and remorse. So I'm not sure what your relationship was like before she left. Please excuse me, I know you've probably shared stuff with that over the years, but I just don't remember at this second in time. But there's a lot of regret and remorse. Like she's asking for forgiveness. Like she's like, I'm so sorry. Like I didn't know. And this is a very common thing when we step into that place where now the veil's gone, if you may, the physical human's gone, that they can see the truth. And this is where a lot of the time we're doing this work with the soul that's passed over. A lot of grief in the heart. Yeah, a lot of grief. It's almost like, I want to say black smoke, which can obviously represent like fire, but also just the level of grief that's like stuck in the lungs. And also like resentment building in the lungs, in the heart, of like the lack of connection between you guys. So it's like this reconciliation, like she's asking for forgiveness. So I'm not sure what happened between you guys, but that's what she's sort of asking you for. She's saying, she's like to you, Doreen, she's like, you tried and you tried and you tried and I didn't listen, and now I'm just like, it's just like, and so she's on her hands and knees, like just this, like just like I didn't know, like, you know, it's like that grief. And again, just sharing this because when I do distance healings, mediumship, like, or someone's sitting in front of me, their higher self, their soul is going through this purging healing, right? And so she's just, you know, and again, I'm just holding space in this process like this. Doreen, is there anything you'd like to specifically say to her about this? So I'm just sitting with this for a moment. Yeah, couldn't breathe. Yeah, fentanyl overdose. I'm just clearing the energy as I'm doing this. Sorry guys, this is Mediumship Mondays. Didn't know what we're doing. Now I know. Yeah. It's like I didn't know. Because I was going to say, I thought it was like the wrist, but I don't know if there's something with that or not, but maybe wanted to or tried that in the past or something. Yeah, so Archangel Michael is, and I call in other beings and stuff as well, are now doing like a clearing on her. So it's the same thing, right? So like they're just basically clearing this out of her system. So while they're doing that, I'll just explain things as well. And this is psychic development. This is, you know, why you sort of need to know what you're doing when you start playing in these realms. This is what I teach in Trust, Intuition, and Life Purpose Legacy. So when a person passes over from an overdose, alcoholic, any addiction that's still running, like any addiction that's running for the person when they pass over is still running when they're stuck on the earth plane. And this is why when you go into like a club or a bar or something, it can be quite a really heavy energy, because souls that have passed over with an addiction are, you know, like jumping into people to get their fix. I know it sounds full on, but this is what happens, okay? And so when people like, and that's why when you go out, like, and you know, I'm not saying never go to a bar again, but I'm just saying, like, you know, it's where your protection comes in, and I'm saying enjoy a drink, but stay conscious. Yeah, stay conscious. As long as you stay conscious, I feel like you're good. You know your own energy. You know when you can feel like, you know, you just don't want to go unconscious to what you're on or whatever, right? I know it's like not really the best advice, but I'm like, this is how we protect ourselves, right? And so it's just, yes, all the energy protection things, but also that. So Archangel Michael's just pulling all of that out of her system now, because it's still been in her system, okay, energetically. So going through a big clearing. So Archangel Mary's just stepped in as well and is actually just holding her, like, you know, like a mother would hold their child on the ground sort of thing, like just, yeah, Archangel Mary is with that. And this is very common when I work, like I said, with mediumship sessions. It's like we're doing a lot of healing on the person who left. A lot of suicide. I deal a lot with that because it is the person, you know, it's like the escape, this reality was too much, and so the escape was that. But what they don't realize is that they still have to deal with it on the other side. Okay. Doreen says, I forgive her and I love her and I want her to find peace. Okay. She just started bawling her eyes out, crying. It's like, I didn't think that you loved me. I didn't know that you felt that way. And then I know it sounds like crazy, but in a daughter's, like, mine's, yeah. So she's just receiving that from you right now. And Archangel Mary is like surrounding her with her pink light. So Archangel Michael's just pulling out the last bits from her solar, like the back of her solar plexus, almost have all these like electrical cords in through the solar plexus. So someone was feeding off her or feeding to, like, do you know what I mean? Like, and that's sort of irrelevant, but it's just what's happening. And just in this, like, this is the perfect, like, unhook me, like, example, right? The thing is that, as I said, in society we've been taught they turn into an angel when it's fine, when it's just so far from the truth. And that's why there's so many souls stuck here on the earth plane. That's why there's so many you know, people who get overtaken by entities or darkness or any of those sort of things, because of like this work is like so important to helping souls, especially with suicide. Like, and you know, like it's definitely with any death, right? But usually the ones that have been a shocking, like, unexpected death or car accident, or even if someone has an illness and dies, there can still be that, like, it was they didn't plan to die from cancer or something, for example, right? And so it can still be a process of like, but I didn't finish things or whatever the story is. And so it's kind of like who, like, the unhooking can go into these realms. And so with Unhook Me coming up at the end of this week, we started moving into the eclipse. Like, these energetics are so important to check, yeah? And in Trust, Intuition, and Life Purpose Legacy, I go into all the details of the skills of these pieces, because this is really important when we're looking at what is holding us back from moving forward, right? Like, for example, so Doreen, that's still going on. So the cause is still coming out. I know it sounds weird, but this is how healing works. The cause is still coming out. There's two main big ones coming in. Like, it's almost like they've come in through the back of the solar plexus. And I'm just wondering if it's like a AI infiltration. So just working with the beings to help remove that at the minute. And it's because it goes up in through the solar plexus, the back of the solar plexus, up through like the what's it called? The freaking spine, like up through the back of the spine, and like sort of into the, I don't know brain and stuff. I'm not a doctor. I don't know the human body that well. Whatever that is. And so they're just being unplugged from her now and being removed, so that, you know, and the reason for this work is it's so that next time she comes in, she doesn't have these. And this is why the interdimensional healing is so important, which again, tap into and Trust, Intuition, and understanding the basics is really, really important. So yeah, so that's still going on. I was explaining something, but now that has gone because of that, so that's okay. Okay, I didn't realize I'd be doing full distance healings, but of course I am. I didn't know what I was going to do for these Mediumship Mondays, but here we go. Here we go. Okay, maybe you weren't meant to come on video. That's fine. So just checking these other comments. I'll have a look there in a moment. Whatever I was talking about is obviously irrelevant this second. So this is a this deck is actually the particular Talking to Heaven deck. I just thought I'd see if there's anything for this piece. And this is why, like, the AI infiltrations, the dark entities, the addictions, you know, all of that. Yeah, and I'm just filling it up through the front of the solar plexus now and up into sort of the throat. It's so weird. It's like coming from the solar plexus. There's like 4 prongs that sort of gone into that piece there. So we're just removing that from her. So that, number one, she doesn't bring it into this next life again if she chooses to come back in. And then also, like, so she's not stuck on the earth plane with this shit. Yeah. So if anyone would like to book a private session, it's a $1,111 US, so about 1,500 Australian for the hour. This is not, like, this is deep work. So if anyone wants a private session, just comment session and I'll send you the details to book in for that. Okay, so I pulled some cards. So just, yeah, there's a lot of the AI tech clearing stuff going on there. So I don't technically do it. The beings do that I work with. I've always worked that way. But I'm just definitely holding space. So the cards that I pulled, Doreen, so we are soulmates. Past card. You've had many lives together. Life is a series of choices. Choose love. And this is so interesting, right? The 2 hearts. Whoops, 2 hearts. I feel like she is, like, it's almost like the biggest healing you've just given her is that you actually did love her. And I know it sounds so, like, well, of course, I'm her mum. But, like, when we're just so in our stuff, we don't feel that from anyone. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest gift you've given her. Well, it's like she feels free now. It's like, oh, I can let it all go. And that's why we've just gone pretty deep with these, the removals here. And the earth is our school. So I want to say it sounds like she'll be back again. Obviously that's a choice for her as well, and really irrelevant information. And then the bottom card of the deck is Remember Me by the happy memories we created. Okay. So just gonna let that be there. I just want to speak to this Edward that was really coming through. Someone had popped there before, so I'm still holding space, but I just want to start tapping into Edward. Edward's been waiting. Tony says, wow, first time I finally caught you live. Thank you for the info regarding what past ones go through. Have never heard about their perspective. It makes total sense of why our souls choose to come back. Wonderful. I'm open to messages if called. So, like, and that's the thing, like, you know, it's what I've been doing with mediumship the whole freaking time, like from day dot back in 2005, like, this is what's come through for me. And it's like, people are like, oh, they're happy and angels and moved on. And I'm like, yeah, that, like, who fucking teaches that? Like, who teaches that? You know, it's like, I don't know, like, I don't know if it's a religion thing or something. And yeah, there's something brewing in me so fucking huge and deep that it's been on my mind to come out, but it's a big job to come out with. But anyway, we'll see. The point is that, like, this is so clear to me, you know, like, that's why the souls hang around in the first place, you know, like, even just, you know, recently a friend, like, old friend passed in, you know, I was kind of shocked, didn't know, and then I don't know, he was hanging around, like, probably a couple of weeks. I could sort of come in and out, and it's strange for me to have, like, it was a friend, right? But for me, way back day dot in 2005, I put boundaries up. I'm like, unless, like, spirits don't turn up for me unless somebody books in for a session with me. It's an energetic boundary, and I encourage everyone to do this, because otherwise you're going to have spirits turning up left, right, and center, and that's when people get scared and they shut down their gift, right? So, because when we start doing psychic development, or you're just sensitive, like, you'll sense ghosts all the time, ghosts, beings, whatever. But it's really important to have these boundaries. Like, you wouldn't just let a stranger just walk into your door when you're like having dinner or something. Like, it's the same deal, right? So it's okay for you to say, actually, unless, you know, the person comes to you specifically, the spirit just can't keep turning up, you know, or, you know, like for me in my business, it's like, unless the person books in as a client, I'm sorry guys, but I can't help you, you know, because otherwise it's full on work. You're allowed to have those boundaries is what I'm saying. You get to choose. But anyway, so my friend kept turning up, and it sort of dawned on me after. I was like, oh, like, what? Like, I knew, like, after a bit I got the message. It was like, oh, there's something that needs to be resolved between us. And when I sort of delved into that, all these memories came back, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And like, we had this thing, and I haven't seen him since. And that's the thing, like, you know, spirits will turn up when there's something to resolve, or there's something going on, or, you know, there's some sort of message like that. So, yeah, it's really important to understand sort of why. And when they go, it doesn't mean that they'll go and you'll never see them again. It's just that there's the earth plane, and then there's all these other realms that we've got. I don't know, where do we actually go? We're going down that rabbit hole. Okay, Edward. Okay, you lost Edward at 27 weeks. That's huge. Was that a long time ago? Was that a while ago? I don't know, it feels old, or maybe I'm picking up his old soul. You always call an Archangel Michael, he's amazing, and always feel better after. Yeah, so I always say any being that I call on, it's always like Archangel Michael of 100% light, or whoever being of 100% light, you know, just always calling in that highest vibration. Yeah, 95, so it was a while ago, I thought so. And it just feels like he has been around you, and I'm wondering, have you actually grieved him? Have you grieved enough? Is what I want to say. Have you grieved enough? And at the time, were you allowed to grieve it enough? That's the big question. Have you grieved the loss of him enough? Because again, someone, probably not, yeah. We hold spirits here on the earth plane by not grieving them. Us not allowing ourselves to feel the full depth of the grief keeps them trapped here. That is why I always say to anybody, when you lose a loved one, like, can you just give yourself, like, can you just take 6 months off? I know it's kind of irrelevant, like hard in our today's society, but I'm like, can you just, for the first 6 months, 18 months, 3 years, like when it's fresh, whether it's a relationship breakup, a divorce, a change in career, losing like a loved one, can you grieve? Because when it's fresh, it's easier to cry, so to speak, okay? In your quiet moments, or with a grieving circle, or, you know, like, can you just, yes, Doreen, I took 6 months off, and I grieved and I grieved and I grieved, yes. I think I remember helping you around that time, or I don't know, I remember it, but I don't remember details and what have you. And that's why I'm so passionate about, like, when something happens, grieve as much as you can when it happens, because then you're not burying it, and then you're not creating scar layers on top of like all this healing you're gonna have to do later down the track, right? And so we hold spirits here by not grieving them. And because it was so long ago, so I was in a bad time in so many ways. I'll absolutely go more within and forgive myself to be able to grieve. Yeah. And I want to say sometimes the grieving comes first, and then it's easier to forgive ourselves, or the forgiveness, and then we grieve, either or. What's also awesome is obviously looking at photos, or revisiting that time of your life and everything that happened at that time as well. It's like a double bind wound, if you may. It's the double healing. It's everything you were going through at that time, etc. And then also like doing some sort of ceremony. So, you know, like, I don't know, I'm just gonna randomly pick some, like buy a bunch of flowers that are special to you and bury them in your garden, or bury them with a seed so it grows something. Like, You know, like it's like you're having the ceremony now. I'm covered in goosebumps and I say that, so it's probably a really powerful thing for you to do at this time. Covered in goosebumps. And this goes, so you lost him at 27 weeks. This is really important for any stillbirth or miscarriage or abortion. You were badly treated by the hospital when it happened, very traumatic. Yes, so this is the healing that you need to go through. I'm really covered in goosebumps as I say this. So any miscarriage, abortion, stillbirth, anything like that, like, number one, grieve as much as you can when it's fresh. And if you're needing to deal with it later on, like your example, Maggie, like some sort of ceremony, like, and it's like, be prepared for the grief to come out, like, and like you went through a really horrible experience at the time as well. So it's like, again, this is where I talk about the double bind wounds, right? So this is a double bind wound. You've got the loss of that, but then all that happened. And then you've got all these layers on top trying to hold it down for all these years. So it's like, but what can start it, and you'll know what starts it for yourself, like some sort of ceremony. So I talked about, like, you know, flowers or something special to you, planting it in the garden, a pot, whatever, grow something, or, you know, buying roses or something, whatever's meaningful to you, putting the petals in a lake or a river or ocean or something like that as a way of releasing. Writing letters is really awesome, burying them in the garden with the plant, or burning it safely in ceremony or anything like that, right? Can also release the letters in the water too. So yeah, anything that feels good like that, because he's been here because, like, he doesn't want to see you upset anymore. But don't mistake the upset, like, it's like holding on to the grief, and the upset is like, so he's just saying, like, he's like, you're making it your fault when it wasn't your fault. Yeah, we did that every year. Flowers in the water where his ashes are. He's like, he doesn't want you to see you upset anymore, in the essence that you're making it your fault when it wasn't your fault. And you're needing to let all that go. So Doreen, so she's just gone to sleep, and what that means is that integration process is now happening. So Doreen, I would just work with her, like, just, I want to say keep checking in over the next month. I don't know, you'll feel her. When a soul goes to sleep like that, it's integration, and it's integrated and it's completed. But it's like and when I say gone to sleep, she's like resting in Archangel Mary's arms. Like, she's still in that process. All the text been removed from her, and now she's just in the healing cocoon womb of light with Archangel Mary. The protective working beings are around her still. I just say that because there's so many of them, but there's that. And then you've got, like, and so that sort of healing cocoon, that'll just stay with you and her for now. So I'm just sort of quote unquote handing that over to you to complete the session with us. And you can just keep checking in with her, and you'll feel when it's fully complete and she's done, gone, if you may. There might be more grief that comes out for you as well at that point, or now and in the process. But yeah, that's that. Okay. Yeah, your kettle clicks when your dad wants a coffee. You know when they're around. Trust these signs, please. Yeah. Okay. So Maggie, just with Edward there. Yeah, it wasn't, yeah, so like he's not wanting you to hurt anymore, meaning stop, like, yeah, forgive yourself. But it's, and that's where I was like, you can forgive yourself, but it's not you, like, you didn't do anything wrong. So what's there to forgive? I think the forgiveness is you holding on to it all this time thinking it was you, but it wasn't you at all. And that's what he's wanting you to let go of. He says it's a big power drain, lots of solar plexus stuff coming up in these readings today. It's been a big power drain for you. I'm not sure if you've had digestive issues or heart, lung, or I don't know. I guess that's digestive issues, reflux, or I don't know. Like, just because you've been trying to swallow something that wasn't yours to swallow. It was like you're being blamed. I did blame myself, so did my ex-husband. Yeah, of course they're gonna have lupus and other stuff. Yeah. So healing this grief and stopping beating yourself up from this experience is going to heal your physical symptoms, because this is where it stems from. The more you can cry, Painting's really awesome as well, like watercolor painting is really awesome for this too. Sorry, I just need to message my client. I just realized the time. I gotta go in a minute because I've got a client. Healing this this grief and stuff is going to heal the physical symptoms. The more grieving you can do, the more releasing. And I want to say, don't worry about focusing on forgiveness, like in a way, you know what I mean? It's like this, you know, what I always say is fuck forgiveness. Like you need to feel the grief and the emotions first. And then that, the forgiveness is a byproduct of you healing the grief, okay? Because we're like, oh, I forgive you or forgive myself, and you're just like seething underneath. No, need to get that out. Okay, yeah. So healing that. Edward, is there anything else that you want to say? I just want her to be free. He's like, this has gone on too long, like seeing you upset. It's like you've been coping, but you haven't been living. And it's time for you to do you. Don't let this hold you back anymore because it just wasn't your fault. And I'm fine with it, he's saying, you know. Oh, covered in goosebumps. I see all of your thoughts. So that's what he's seeing you this whole time. He's like, I don't want this for you, for goodness sake. Past card is I'm standing right next to you. He's been there the whole time waiting for you to release this. I will always point you in the right direction. So trust the nudges. You're being guided through the little pieces to help you in this healing and direction with what's going to help heal and release all these pieces. And then he's saying, I am sorry, please forgive me. So he's also feeling this part in himself where like, he's like, but I did this to you because I was born. Well, born, you know? So he's also asking for forgiveness, but you're probably like, I don't need to forgive you either. And there's that, the peace. So yeah, so that this is really his strong message right now. So he's like, it's like the nudges coming through, right? It's like, just please follow what I'm guiding you to do is what, you know what I mean? It's like, he's like pushing you in a way. You forgive him too, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Just like, I'm so sorry. And he just gave you a big hug. Like he just wrapped his arms around you. Yeah. Because he's growing. Like, as I'm talking to him, he's not 27 weeks old, by the way. I didn't mention that. He's like a fully grown man now. Yeah, just wanted to point that out, who I was speaking to. Like, because I was like, but this was a long time ago, but he's a fully grown man now that I'm speaking to. So you probably can connect with him on that level too. So anything else for Edward and Maggie? Yeah. That feels complete, but to continue to, yeah, these are really strong. It's like a really strong message. So there's obviously something that he wants to show you, or like a way of healing that he knows will really help you. So yeah, really work with that. You feel these older now also, yeah, he's been with you the whole time. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else? You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Yeah. Okay, just closing the space, leaving you guys to finish that with you guys. Yes, try meditating, even just while you're doing the dishes, washing, driving, showering. There's a lot of information that comes through too. Please don't brush that off. It's real. Okay, there's lots of questions coming through. I'm going to do this every Monday, roughly around the same time. To do an actual session like I have done with these two coming through is really like, obviously it takes a bit of time, and I could manage two at the time then they came through. I might post, no, just next time you guys come, like, I don't know. I'll try and, I'm just learning how to do Mediumship Mondays, okay? I'm like, I want to help you all. So next time, you're so welcome, Doreen. Like, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, I think. I'll try and answer as many questions as I can. Like Rosalind says, how do you know if they're happy? It's like, you know, as I said at the start, if you missed the start of this live stream, maybe watch the beginning piece, because when a soul passes over, they're the exactly same person as they were when they left. They just see the truth more because the physical body isn't blocking the unconscious of the truth. Yeah. consciousness of the truth or something. So yeah, so roughly same time next week. I'll try and answer as many questions as possible whilst I'm live, and, you know, listening in and learning what I'm doing or picking up. Like, you'll learn different pieces as well, so you can gain that clarity from other experiences too, just like when I do psychic readings. So yeah, welcome to Mediumship Mondays. Thanks for being here. See you guys soon.